All right, John's gonna have to figure out his audio settings in real time.
He has to figure out his audio again.
Oh yeah, no, this is like a constant thing. Yeah, Jess is asking me. Yeah, this is like a constant thing where John can never figure. This should just be a reoccurring segment where John figures out how to use his computer.
I mean, it already is.
All right, is that good?
Holy shit! All right, are we ready?
Sounds pretty good.
All right.
Welcome to the Good Games Podcast. My name is James.
I'm Leo.
And I'm John.
Welcome, guys. We're
Thank you.
we're a whole week late, and we're almost a couple more days late.
Yeah, this was rough.
Yeah,
but, a lot of things are happening right now. So
yeah.
So sometimes schedules, life goes on.
Yeah, life is busy.
Yeah.
But today we've got some time. We're going to talk about Katana Zero. One of the breakout indie hits of the year this year. What did you guys think of this game?
If I can sum it up in 2 words,
go ahead. Sum it up in 2 words.
Say frustratingly good.
Oh, okay. John, what are your 2 words?
Good and good.
That's
Good
3
and
words.
good.
That's 3 words.
Maybe it was like an ampersand.
I would say stylishly good. How about that?
Oh,
Stylish.
I'm gonna go with fuck yeah. Those are my 2 words.
Okay.
Fuck yeah. I love this game.
It's very good.
This
it's a very good game.
reminds me a lot of Hotline Miami. So for the uninitiated, Katana Zero is a game by ASCII Soft. I don't know, an indie developer, published by Devolver Digital. Came out earlier this year, like a month or so ago, maybe 2 months now at this point. It is a
It's
so
one guy, by the way.
It's what?
Developed by one person, Justin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Justin
nice.
something.
Yeah. Which you can tell games like that. You can tell when a game is developed by a small team. It just has a really strong sense of identity and sense of self, which this game definitely has. It's I compare it a lot to Hotline Miami, where levels are short but very difficult, and there's a lot. It's a lot of fast-paced action where you have to clear rooms full of dudes. But in Hotline Miami, the camera is like a top-down perspective. This is from the side, so a traditional I don't know, Mario from the side 2D platformer.
2D side scroller platformer.
It's so weird comparing this game to Mario. Because
I was just using Mario as a touch point so that people know where the camera is, even though there's not really a camera in a 2D game. But just to contrast it with Hotline Miami, which I think this game is going to draw a lot of comparisons with Hotline Miami. Both have a really strong sense of style. This game's art is off the fucking chain. The style in this game is amazing. And both are killing or clearing out rooms full of dudes, fast action, short levels but very difficult. This game just I don't know, oozes style. The pixel graphics are the pixel graphics and animation and screen effects are very good.
Superb, I would say.
Superb. And also both this and Hotline Miami have really good
synth.
How do you synth electronica dance almost techno but not really a
You know what it is? It's there's an artist.
What's dubstep?
Stealth step.
Stealth
step? I'm sorry, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
Stealth step? Is that what it's called? Stealth step.
But there's an artist that I'm familiar with called Kavinsky who does a lot of stuff like this. It's that sort of Blade Runner-y like
Yeah.
bright lights, but like a dark sort of 80s style sort of sound. There's a lot of synths, like 80s synth keyboard.
Yeah,
sort of
it's
sound.
like if like the Blade Runner synth was adopted, like was mixed with like dance techno music kind of.
but like more chill.
Yeah. There's a lot of like upbeat tracks in Katana Zero, but there's a lot of like really chill, very Blade Runner-y themes. Yeah. All right. Gameplay. What did you guys think? So the basic gist to any level in Katana Zero is you have a room full of dudes. You gotta kill all the dudes in the room, but your character has one special ability that he can slow down time, and you have like a little meter, and as you use your time slow ability, your meter burns, but it'll slowly come back, so you can slow down time just for a brief instant to like dodge or deflect.
Two special abilities.
Yeah, two special abilities, because he also has the roll.
True. So you have like a roll where you're invincible. You have like some invincibility frames on your roll where you can, roll through attacks or dodge bullets or whatever. I don't know. The superhuman one to me seems to be the ability to slow down time.
There is another superhuman one thematically as well. I don't know if it's like a passive ability. You might say.
What do you mean?
You don't really die in the game.
Yeah, and that's kind of mixed thematically with his ability to slow down time, which I guess we'll get to the theme and the story of this game. But thematically, you never die in this game. Like even if you fuck up, it's pitched thematically like your character is like planning what he's going to do in the room. So if you die, he's like, oh no, actually that's not going to work. Let me think through this another way. And then, like, when he gets it perfectly and he clears out the whole room, he's like, yeah, got it. That's exactly what you're going to...
So, by the way, I love that theme. Like,
It's just amazing.
Yeah. It does it for me, like, so perfectly. Yeah. It makes dying feel a little bit less, like, I don't know, like, it just affects me less. And this game was very frustrating in how difficult the levels were, but I could not put the damn thing down because I just, like... when all was said and done, I was like, I did that in one life.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool when it shows you the security tape of your actual playthrough, and it reinforces that, like, oh, you don't die in this game. You just relive everything multiple times till you get it right.
Yeah. So when you successfully complete a level, you watch a replay of yourself. But also the cool thing about the replay is that the replay is all in real time. So if you ever used your slow motion ability to like dodge or deflect a bullet, that's just played back in real time. So you look like extra superhuman if you pulled off a bunch of ridiculous dodges and deflects and all this stuff. That's a very, very good end of level replay is very good. I also like that it's like one of the very few games that thematically not thematically justifies death, but like thematically incorporates like a fail state, like what happens if the player fails on a level, like thematically incorporates fail state into the theme of the game, right? Because like most video games don't do that. So like what is the theme of, to go back to Super Mario Brothers, like, so like does Mario defeat Bowser but only after dying 112 times? Like so is the one life of Mario the one where he like does it perfectly? Is that the one that counts? And then like the other ones were like false memories, or like they didn't really
or when
happen,
he's dying, is he like almost dying? He's like fatally wounded, but then eats a mushroom and then he's okay.
I
like to think there's thousands of Italian plumbers all named
the 1,000 Mario theory. Nice.
Yeah.
So the basic gist of any level is there's a room full of dudes and you kill them all. Did you ever get the sense that this game was repetitive, like where you're like, oh, I'm doing the same thing over and over again? Like
not from level to level, no.
Never, ever did I feel that. Which like
every level they're introducing a new mechanic or a new, whatever, which felt great.
It's so good.
Yeah.
There is constantly like they'll play with level design, they'll play with not necessarily, kind of new mechanics or like new enemy types that you haven't seen yet.
New enemy types or new like type of puzzle-y type of like enemy approach you have to take, a different approach you have to take with certain enemies or whatever?
Yeah, so like one level will be like okay, so like you start out right next to the door that you need to get into, but it's locked and you need like 3 keys that are scattered throughout the rest of the level. So you go on like a scavenger hunt. There's levels where it's like one of the later games in a level is you're like in a military bunker and you're just going down floor to floor to floor to floor. Like,
oh yeah, that was a great level.
yeah. That one was like the true test of like, have you mastered this game?
All the skills, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they threw like every enemy type.
Level.
What's that?
There's no checkpoint, so
yeah,
no extra room where you have to walk through. You have to go through like 14 different guys on. Different
so that was the one really overly frustrating part about this game. Sometimes it's like I could spend 10 minutes trying to perfectly get through the whole stage or something, and then like one guy will just barely hit me, and I have to do the whole damn thing over again. Like,
but like, it's not. These levels are like even shorter than Hotline Miami. Like a playthrough is like
some of them take a while though, because there's one in particular.
Seconds, 30 seconds.
No. There's one in particular that I'm recalling. It's the one I spent like the most amount of time on. And like you start out on the bottom left, and there's one dude right by that door, but then it's like 3 stories, like 3 levels on the map up and down. And there's
the one with the flamethrower.
Yeah, I think there's like a flamethrower, which I didn't realize was a flamethrower for a while, and then there has to be like 50 dudes in that room, and there's 3 levels.
Yeah.
And there's no
I know
checkpoint.
exactly the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has to know. That has to be the longest level in the entire game.
Yeah, but there's like a max timer on any level, which is like what? Like a minute, maybe like a minute 30, 2 minutes at the most. Like,
I guess it just felt longer because of the intensity. I don't know.
I like the challenge, definitely. Like, I don't want the game to be easy. I welcome the frustrating, but sometimes it was just like, it's like part of me wanted to put the game down because it was so frustrating, but then I never did put it down because like I just wanted to beat it. It's hard. It's like a weird mix.
But it's like, it's super difficult, but it's not punishing. Like, it's not... Because, like, Dark Souls is difficult and punishing. Because, like, when you die, you really do lose, like, 15, 20 minutes of progress. And you're like, fuck off! Like, this, you lose, like, 30 seconds. And you're like, all right, I got this this time.
It's really just the perfect amount of like, kind of feeling like you have to restart that level. It's like you don't feel bad about it, but you do feel frustrated that you can't beat it.
Yeah, it strikes that balance part perfectly. Like, what you did wrong, and you don't lose so much time over it either.
And then my thing is when it's all said and done, like finishing out all the levels on that stage or whatever, and you're hit with the sort of in between cutscenes or that whole kind of routine that's between every mission is such a reward that it makes it all worth it to me.
Do we want to start talking about the story?
Sure.
Because this story is the story of Katana Zero is buck wild. I would use that word to describe it. What are you talking about? The in between parts, Leo? What?
It kind of reminds me of choose your favorite like JRPG, and you'd be out in the world, fighting monsters and getting to some big boss fight, and then at the end of that sort of arc, something would happen, and then you'd go back to town. You'd always go back to town to restock on items and rest at the inn and that kind of feeling. It's like the game is so intense and so frustrating, and like you're like amped up, and then when all said and done, like you complete your mission, and it's always a little bit sort of like a hook at the end, like, oh, did I really complete my mission, or is there something weirder going on here? And then you'd be back in like your apartment, you're getting some tea, you're sleeping, you're relaxing, you're seeing your therapist in the morning. It's like this really great kind of roller coaster feeling of intensity and then like calm or tranquility that gets progressively weirder though.
Yeah. So there's like a certain sequence of events that more or less always happens. So you have like a really intense level. Then you have like a scene where you're going back to your apartment. Then you have a scene where you have like a really weird dream. Then there's a scene where you're talking to your therapist. And these same 3 scenes, give or take some other elements, like always happen over and over again. But they're always like a little bit, or in some cases, quite a lot bit different. Like different things will happen I don't know. Like I found this game was like always playing with and subverting like my expectations of what I thought was going to happen. Like, did you notice? Like, there's so many times where the game's like, no, actually, no, that's not what we're. Because like do you remember the very first level? Your mission is to rescue like a scientist, and like you get to the scientist and he's like all tied up, and you untie him and you're like, all right, let's go. And then the scientist starts following you, and he's got like a health bar, and you're like, oh, cool, this is gonna be like an escort mission. All right, got it. And then like a ton of guards. And a ton of guards come in. You're like, all right, got it. I gotta escort the scientist. And then the scientist's just head explodes, and you're like, oh, well, okay. And then they're like, the other like really good, like, nah, just kidding, was the prison level, because like they amp you up like okay, there's gonna be all these like SWAT and police are gonna be crawling all over this prison. Like, you need to get in and take out this target. It's going to be really tough. And one of the mission condition is like, don't kill anyone. So you're like, okay, like you have to do
am I going to do that? Yeah.
Like, all right, okay, I got to do a non-violent run here. And you go in the prison, and everyone's already dead. And you're like, wait, what? Like, I don't know. I just found the like. I don't know, the game just toying with what you think is going to happen all the time.
With your psyche. They're toying with your psyche the whole game. Mm-hmm, and they kind of do it in the whole dream sequence and everything too. Like the character has a kind of a creepy dream, and you're trying to puzzle it out. They're withholding information. And then the character goes to the therapist, and you get a little bit more about that memory that is triggering that nightmare. And like I started to come up with my own ideas of what was happening, like what was like certain people were not real, maybe, or something like that. But then they started toying out with the dream further, like replacing characters in the nightmare, and so then like you never really quite knew what was real. It was fucking mind boggling. I was like, my psyche was being torn apart.
Well, it's a really good like mystery story, because they like they tease you with all these hooks, like why is your character being asked to kill all these people? Who is like this entity that is asking you to kill all these people? Like, why does your character have all these weird superhuman powers? Why is your character having these nightmares? Like,
and the most important question of all,
like,
why is your character cosplaying as a samurai? Like, what?
Right. So like, it's a really good, and they just tease out little bits of the story over time. They do that really well.
Did you guys you guys have that option, by the way?
Yes. So the second level is called it's like the Murdoer Hotel or something like that. But like cleverly, the O and the W are out, so it's the Murder Hotel. But you talk to the receptionist at the Murder Hotel. And I've done two different. Well, I did a full playthrough and then a partial playthrough. So I've had two different interactions with the receptionist. But basically, the receptionist is like, I mean, your character is dressed as a samurai, right? Like a full fucking So the receptionist is like, excuse me, like, who are you and what are you doing here? So like, what did you guys say to the receptionist? Because you have several dialogue options you can pick.
I think I said something like, I'm here to take a shower.
Yeah. And she's like, what's with the samurai get up? And you're like, oh, it's a bathrobe. It's for my shower.
And I'm just here for the shower. I'm going to leave or something like that. And she's like, see ya.
What did you say, Leo?
I went with the cosplay route. I forgot what led me to that.
Because she's like, what's with the robe? And one of the options is you can pick like, oh, it's my cosplay. And then she's like, who are you cosplaying as?
Well, hold on. She doesn't just ask that. The screen shakes, and she talks in like capital letters. I love cosplay. Who are you cosplaying as?
Yeah. Who did you cosplay as?
Some obnoxiously long name from an anime.
I picked Pikachu. Or something like that.
That was.
And she's like, "Oh, Pikachu, but your bathrobe's the wrong color." And then I was like, "Oh no, I'm Pikachu from season 72." And she's like, "Oh, like, well, wait a minute, shouldn't your bathrobe be like whatever?" And then the dialogue options just say like, "Peeker, peeker, peeker." And I'm like, "Yes, this She's like, "Oh, Pikachu, I see. Like, go right ahead, Mr. Pikachu."
Now, but
And
the
then,
funny
like,
part was on the way out.
yes, on the way out, the guard's there, and the guard's like, "Hey, I heard like there was a bunch of violence here. Like, what's going on?" And the receptionist like defends you, and like my receptionist was like, "Oh no, don't worry. This is just Pikachu. He's cosplaying, right?" And then you're like, "Yeah, Peeker."
Yeah. Oh man!
I actually saw a clip of a third third option where you could just piss that all off of her and call her an idiot or something like that.
Yeah.
Her face turns red and she like is about to rip your head off in a way. Like I didn't see the entire clip, but I was gonna play through that level again to see if I could do it.
Yeah, and it seems like not only in this interaction, but like there's a bunch of interactions with the game that can go a little bit differently depending on how you react to different characters in the game. So
did you guys talk to the dance guy?
So like the third mission, you have to assassinate someone named DJ Electrohead. But okay. So this you're getting when you talk to your psychiatrist kind of like talks through these weird dreams you're having. Then he gives you a dose of this like weird drug, and then the psychiatrist gives you a hit. So you like open this classified dossier, and there's like someone you need to kill in it, and you're like, what? And then so you've done this a couple nights in a row, and then like on the third mission, it says like this is DJ Electrohead, like do not talk to him. Whatever you do, don't talk to him. And then like
which of course makes you immediately want to talk to him.
Oh yeah, so I talked. Well, my first playthrough, I talked the shit off of him. Yeah,
I did not talk to him actually.
Oh, you just killed him.
I followed my orders.
Okay.
Man.
Oh, okay, nice.
Well, you missed. I some foreshadowing about what you're getting injected with, and some of the story.
Well, I mean, I could tell something was going on there.
Yeah, you miss a little bit more of the story they tease out with that. Do you guys want to get into like your theories on what's going on with the story?
Yeah, we're gonna try.
So apparently they're gonna make more than one game too. By the way,
I would imagine.
Fantastic. Yeah. This game, I would love it, and
more
definitely. Definitely. There are enough loose ends, I think, in the ending of the game, and
unresolved
conflicts that warrant a sequel or DLC or whatever.
I would just
Plus,
say
I want to keep playing as the blonde guy.
There's too much of the story missing. Like you have no idea what's going on.
There's still a lot to cover.
Yeah, I think I've pieced together most of what's going on. So the story is like very ethereal and very, I don't know, if you've played Hotline Miami, you know exactly what the story is like. It's told out of order. It's told, and this is all compounded by the fact that the main character is an unreliable narrator, right? Like,
because you never quite know what's real.
Yeah, because and thematically, this will get explained later. But the character, like his reality is starting to blur together. He can't tell past from present, from what happened. He keeps having these weird nightmares, and near the end of the game, he can't even tell fiction from reality anymore. So it gets really hard to tell what's like actually happening and what he is imagining. All right, so what are you guys' theories? Hit me with your theories. Here we go.
So the game talks about like the Cro-Mag and the Lost War, and it teases a little bit about a failed experiment by the government called the Gamma Program. And so like the main character is obviously a part of the Gamma Program, and so is this other character called the Dragon, which the game teases quite a bit. And there's a faction in the game that's like some mysterious gang that is not a part of the government, and they're interested in this drug that the Gamma Program developed for these assassins called Kronos. And only a few people know how to make it, and they're part of that Gamma Program that's now defunct. It's not available anymore. And then so like I guess the game is like a constant fight between the government and this faction, and your character used to be a part of that program, and is no longer a part of it, and the stock of Kronos is limited, so everyone's fighting over this precious resource that is totally unavailable. That's more or less basically the story in a nutshell. There's a lot of really interesting details and sub stories behind that. Kind of like they don't really go into too much why, what the dream was about. It's some mission during the war where, you have to destroy a machine, and your character was a part of that. But they don't explain how the war was lost, because apparently these Gamma assassins are so elite. Like, there's no way that they should have lost. So that will be interesting to see in the sequel of the game, to see, what exactly went on there. And then the little girl is mysterious as well, right? I think the little girl is Snow.
Yeah, I've heard. I've seen that theory. Yeah,
the little girl is what?
Snow, the other assassin that you get a brief glimpse of. That's like V's superior, right below the boss.
That chick. Okay.
They never show the boss either, which is interesting. I think he's obviously a very interesting character that will make an appearance later.
I also don't think the little girl is real. She's not real in the sense that she actually exists in the present
physical
timeline.
World. Yeah,
she doesn't exist in the present timeline. She might be a memory that Zero has, but I don't think she actually exists.
Because the Leviathan stuffed animal was in the nightmare of him.
I don't know what to make of the Leviathan and the I can't remember the other one.
The dinosaur, right?
Behemoth.
The Leviathan and the Behemoth. So to catch people up, you start when you go back to your apartment, you see this little girl, and she's got these toys. She's she's got a Behemoth and a Leviathan, and they're little, I don't know, action figure toys.
Dinosaurs.
She's like, hey, can I? Yeah, dinosaurs. She's like, hey, one of them's in your apartment, and you're like, no, I guarantee you it's not in my apartment. She's like, no, it's absolutely in your apartment. Can I go in your apartment and get my toy? And I mean, you have several dialogue options, but it's no, your toy is not in my. Why would your toy be in my apartment? But you let her in, you go through your stuff, and sure enough, there it is. But I don't get what those are supposed to symbolize.
That's so obviously not real, right? That whole interaction is fake.
Yeah. No, I'm firmly in the camp that she is a memory or some unreal thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the theory that she's Snow.
Yeah, I also buy that she is Snow. Yeah.
Yeah. What if they were together at the Gamma treatment stuff, and that was the toys, and he has Leviathan because she gave it to him when they were young.
Yeah.
I also think that in some sense. Okay, so here's my interpretation of the dream. I think the dream is this horrible guilt thing that Zero, the main character, is going through because it's revealed at the end. Okay, so the way the dream goes is your character is having this dream where there's a boy, and you initially think oh, the character, the boy in the dream is probably the main character.
Yeah,
so there's this boy, and he's playing with a girl, and then someone comes in. There's a scientist who's like, hey, run. We got to get out of here. And then someone shoots the scientist and breaks this machine. And this dream keeps repeating over and over and over again. Slightly different things will happen sometimes. But I think because at the beginning of the game, you're playing catch with the girl. And that to me is
it's the same
he's
girl,
confusing.
Right?
It's the same girl. I think it's the same girl. I think he's
confused.
Yeah, it's the same pixel outline. I think he's confusing his dream with reality, and I think it's this horrible guilt thing because at the end of the game, it's revealed the boy is not Zero. Someone else, the Zero, is the guy who comes in, shoots the scientist, and probably kills those kids. Because at some point in the game they mention oh god, I can't believe all the atrocities of war when they killed the children and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, the two people in the bar that were war veterans.
Yeah. So I think it's
So what
Zero.
What do you think about the comment in that same bar scene where they talk about how he's a baby face and he can't be a war vet?
Yeah.
How does
I think well, it's really weird, but I think that's a side effect of the Kronos. So the Kronos is the drug that the government was injecting these soldiers with to make them super soldiers. So the Kronos is also what allows your main character to slow down time and dodge bullets and all this stuff. But the problem is once you stop taking the drug, you go into these like horrible withdrawal symptoms where you can't tell like past from present. Like time becomes like irrelevant. Like there's no you can't sense the flow of time anymore. Or like somebody else described it like you just get stuck in one moment forever.
The game,
or something like
does
that.
A really good description of what happens. It's like you get trapped in an infinite loop essentially.
And that's like the withdrawal from the and Zero towards the end of the game starts to enter withdrawal from Chronos, and like the game will keep glitching out. Like scenes will just melt into other scenes. Like
another one of my favorite things to happen in video games is when like that sort of stuff happens and messes with your like normal gaming routine. Like
yeah. Because you'll be talking to one character in one scene, and then the same sentence will continue spoken by a different character in a different scene. So it's like I read that as like Zero is having these horrible withdrawal things where he can't keep track of time anymore.
I like how the game, like during one of those episodes of him not getting Chronos, the game has V punch him, and then he wakes up in
punch
the level,
him,
and you have to start playing the level. And you have no idea that there's nothing wrong. You just thought that's like part of the game sequence. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, you're waking up back in the psychiatrist's office getting an injection. And you're like, right.
Yeah, that part was super trippy.
Yeah, the character literally punches you into another scene. It's very good. But yeah, anyway, to go back to your question, John, I think it's a side effect of the Chronos. So he started taking it either during or maybe shortly after the war, and like maybe that prevents him from aging or something. I don't know. It's not quite clear exactly how that works.
Sense. We're going to need another game to fully explain everything.
I'm very disappointed in the lack of the dragon in the game. Like you get half a level playing as the dragon, and he has the coolest ability.
Literally the best character in the entire game.
That was really cool.
Oh my god, I loved all of his ability. Well, his main extra ability, I guess.
Because the game, another instance of the game, like pulling a bait and switch, like with what you expect, is like all these news reports are like, oh, the dragon is the serial killer who's like killing all these people, and you're like, oh, I'm the dragon, like, because like there's all these news reports of all these people dying like right after you completed a level, and it's like, oh, we've started calling this person the dragon, and he's struck again, and he's killed all these people. Turns out, no, you're not the dragon. There is another person who's been taking Chronos, who has all these abilities, but he's like way better than you, and he like.
Why is he so much better? I don't understand. I want to be the dragon.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and they let you play as the dragon for one level, and it's the prison level.
Yeah,
where you like earlier in the game you played it as Zero, and all these people are all like they're just
already dead. Yeah.
Tons of people already dead.
Yeah.
You get to like go back as the dragon, as the actual dragon,
so cool.
and like just murder tons and tons of people.
That was by far my favorite part of the whole game. Just like he puts the tape in, Zero puts the videotape in to see what happened in the prison, and then you play through.
My
cool.
theory surrounding kind of that character and why Zero, like, so they say Zero doesn't have any recollection or any memory after the war and like the events before and after, like he doesn't remember his name or anything. I think the real dragon remembers everything, and he's not like he's his own independent party. And I think like the next game is going to have more interaction with that character, and like Zero's going to get some new abilities that from remembering his past.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Zero's past. I mean, they tease some stuff out, but there's a lot of it that's unresolved. There's still like a lot of questions that you have at the end of the game. Yeah. Also, I loved the like Silent Hill 2 reference. There's
that scared the crap out of me.
There's like a welcome to Silent Hill sign, but like I can't remember what it says. It doesn't say Silent Hill for obvious reasons. It says something else. But then if you wait in that scene for a while, like Pyramid Head will just like come by and he'll just like walk by in the background.
I didn't even have to wait.
You can attack him.
Oh, can you? I didn't try to attack him.
I got an achievement for that.
Yeah,
I didn't even attack him.
I attacked the shit out of him. He scared the crap out of me. No, for me, I walked into that room where he shows up.
Yeah.
And he was just there.
Oh,
like I didn't have to wait. It was just suddenly I saw a creepy dude with a sword like dragging it along the floor, walking towards me.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, Leah, when you kill him, there's like little sparks that come off of his body.
Yeah, it's like a robot or like animate.
Yeah, I think the whole level is a Hollywood set because there was a few other things you could attack too.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I just love the shout out to Silent Hill 2 because that's one of my favorite video games. So what else? Anything else on Katana Zero? Any other theories?
My main theory is that everyone should play it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good theory. I'm going to be honest with you right now, guys. This is at the tippy top of my games of the year list right now.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
This blew me away.
It was very very good.
Very 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 good video game. Very good indie video game. So today we thought for our top 5, we'd talk about our favorite independently developed video games.
That was a great segue, James.
Yeah, thank you. I've been working on my segues. I haven't actually. I don't know. Whatever. Leo, what's your number 5 overall favorite indie video game?
My number 5 overall favorite is a little known game called Clarb Procreation Rift.
Fuck off.
It's independently developed for a game jam back in 2011 or so. No, it wasn't that long ago, right? It was like 2014,
something like that. Yeah.
Spoiler alert: it was actually done by a couple of the guys who have frequented this podcast. Me, James, a couple of the dudes. And we just put it together for a game jam. It was quite good, though. It was basically, the concept was 2 aliens were apart via some rift. Like, it was like a symmetrical controlling of 2 characters. Like, the left joystick would control the left character, and the right joystick would control the right character. And you had to try to walk across this platform that was, deteriorating behind you. But as it was like a top-down movement, and as the stage melted away, like, you would have to control one character in like opposing directions to the other character, and it was confusing, and it was great. It was a great game.
If I can find the link to it, and the link is still active, assuming that it's still active, I will post it in the description for this.
And if not, podcast. We will just go ahead and redevelop it and throw it out there.
Right.
You guys have all the source code, right?
Maybe. My number 5 favorite independent video game is one I've talked about before. It's the Stanley Parable. Basically, the Stanley Parable is a deconstruction of video games. So the basic gist of the Stanley Parable is you play as a character, and there's a narrator who narrates everything you do, but you don't necessarily, and sometimes the narrator will preempt what you're going to do. So like in the very beginning of the game, there's 2 doors, a door on the left and the door on the right, and the narrator says, Stanley, that's you, the player character, walks through the door on the left. But you don't have to walk through the door on the left, right? You can like disobey the narrator, and then I don't know, there's this whole...
Like, that was a bad idea or something.
Yeah, right, yeah. So there becomes this whole like dissonance between what your player is doing, what the narrator is doing, and it brings into question, it just deconstructs like player agency and just deconstructs, I don't know, video games as a whole in a way I found very satisfying. So anyway, check out The Stanley Parable. John, what is your number 5?
So my number 5 is Super Hot. It's it's a really
super
good indie game.
Hot.
Yeah. Super hot.
So it's kind of stylish and in similar ways to Katana Zero. Maybe not exactly the same, but basically the premise of the game is I'm not even sure what the story is, but the core gameplay mechanic is basically time moves only when you move, and you're supposed to clear the level killing these guys that are trying to kill you. And so you get to play this it's really kind of a mix between like puzzle elements and strategy. and so you're basically timing everything in such a way that you're dodging bullets, but you're also firing bullets back at them, and so you're navigating around the level, killing the enemies and getting to the end. And each level introduces kind of a new mechanic, and the game itself is extremely unique. There's not really anything like that.
Yeah, I'll say the original Super Hot is good, but Super Hot in VR is great.
Oh, I bet.
It's one of the VR experiences that is actually way better in VR than it is normally.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, I've
Super Hot VR is amazing. Super Hot VR is very good.
Okay, my number 4 goes back to one of the OGs of indie games. I'm gonna give it up to Minecraft.
Nice.
These days it would be not really considered an indie game, I don't think.
Yeah.
But back in the day, it was developed by one dude, and was probably a big trendsetter for indie game developers. Like, it's not like you make games if you're an indie game developer, like, for being a successful, lucrative endeavor. Like, a lot of times people are making these games because they're making a game that they love, like the idea that they had, But Minecraft is a really great example of sometimes you do that and you also just kind of hit the gold mine, no pun intended, and make something that ends up selling for billions of dollars. It's kind of cool that he was able to reach so many people with something he just was making in his garage or something, So
yeah. My number 4 is a game that got its start on the Ouya. Remember the Ouya?
Yeah,
guys.
I do actually. That rings a bell.
My number 4 is Matt Thorsen's Towerfall.
Yeah.
These days, Matt Thorsen is probably more well known for Celeste. But I like his original multiplayer. I don't know
arena?
What the hell kind of.
It's an arena.
Multiplayer, yeah. Multiplayer arena.
2D arena. That's it.
The 2D arena battle game. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's you want to play this game with 4 players first of all, because it's the most fun with 4 players. But it's a super fast paced. Basically the gist of it is you have arrows that you can aim and you can try to shoot other people, or you can try to jump on other people. But the big thing is it's one hit, one kill. So as soon as you hit someone with an arrow, or as soon as you jump on them, they're dead. So, but also if a round goes on for too long, the level will start to collapse. So anyway, rounds of Towerfall last 20 seconds, 30 seconds, probably
that's pretty long.
Maybe a little bit longer than a level in Katana Zero, but not by much.
Yeah, very short.
But also if you get really good at Towerfall and you start predicting what your enemies are going to do, you can dodge their arrows, and if you dodge right at the perfect moment, you can actually catch their arrow and shoot it back at them, because that's the other thing. Once you shoot an arrow, there's a risk that they could catch it. There's a risk that it'll get stuck on the floor, and then they can pick it up and use your own ammo against you.
And you have limited ammo, limited shots.
Yeah. And then there's all these modifiers, which, by the way, the best way to play Towerfall is random levels, random modifiers. Just put everything on random. It's so much fun. Because you can do bomb arrows, you can do invisible characters, you can do all this crazy stuff. Yeah, Bramble. I forgot about Bramble arrows. God, those are good.
I'll play some Towerfall.
Anyway, Towerfall is a very good multiplayer battle game. It is good. It's a very good couch. Yeah, by the way, when I say multiplayer, the best way to play this is with 4 people on your couch. Yeah. Towerfall.
Yeah, good choice.
Thank you.
My number 4 is a game that I've been playing kind of recently. It's Dead Cells.
And, Dead Cells.
Yeah, Dead Cells. It's super interesting. It's kind of it's a roguelike indie game. The unique factor about this game is it plays kind of like a looting game in a way. So there's so the game is kind of the same perspective as Katana Zero or Mario, I guess is the standard base.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's a 2D platformer, and there's like an element of momentum and time in the game where you want to complete the levels as fast as possible, but there's also this conflicting element of wanting to explore as well. So the reason why you want to explore is there's the opportunity to find better gear in the level, and that the better gear you find, the more momentum that, or I guess the better chance of you surviving the later levels in the game. But at the same time, the faster you get through the levels, the chance that you'll discover something rare in some of the secret areas that are only available if you make it in time. You could play kind of the longer, more traditional routes, or as you become more familiar in each playthrough, you can kind of take shortcuts through different routes in the game, and each level is pretty unique. The level design is really good, and you discover blueprints as well for unlocking new weapons. So once you unlock a new weapon, there's an opportunity for that to spawn in the level in future playthroughs, and you can get some really cool combinations, freezing enemies and using heavy weapons on them as well. And there's really cool skills and traps as well in the game. So there's, I don't know, it's really hard to describe, and I think it's like one of those games where you'd have to play through and try it out for yourself.
Yeah. Dead Cells. What you got, Leo? Number 3.
My number 3 is going to go to Rogue Legacy.
Oh, wow. Very similar. Yeah. Dead Cells and Rogue Legacy.
Yeah. Rogue Legacy is like a difficult, like John was saying, 2D side scroller sort of thing. The gimmick that made it interesting was that you were meant to die, and when you it was like expected because the game was so difficult, and then you would have like offspring, like your legacy. You would leave your legacy behind, and you'd be able to have a new member of the family make the same run in the same castle to try to get the treasure, but each generation would have different sort of random abilities that made certain runs more difficult or more easy. You can always get further and further, like the more your legacy passed on and the abilities became more and more like powerful. I don't know, some combination of that kind of stuff. It was really, really cool and difficult. I like difficult games, so they tend to be on my list.
Yeah, very similar. Rogue Legacy and Dead Cells. The thing that makes Rogue Legacy for me is I like all of the like mutations that like your children can have all these weird conditions, like one of them is like super strong, which like that manifests gameplay wise is like you can knock back your opponents farther. But like also there's some that like don't necessarily have like a big impact on gameplay. They're just like goofy.
Yeah.
Like monochromia, like you can only see black and white. Yeah. Or my favorite was dyslexia, where like when you start reading signs, like they'll just randomly transpose letters and words.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I like that.
Very good.
I like those kind of
just dumb stuff like that made runs of Rogue Legacy feel very unique. My number 3 is Hollow Knight. We had an entire episode on Hollow Knight. So please go listen to that episode if you want to hear more of my any of our thoughts on Hollow Knight. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it's my favorite Metroidvania. So if you like those types of games, Hollow Knight's the best one. John, what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is Into the Breach, and I think you guys have a whole podcast episode on that as well. So I'm not
did we not have you on that episode?
Probably not. I think I joined.
Well, John. Well, now's your chance. You got to talk about Into the Breach now.
Okay. I can give a brief summary.
Okay.
So Into the Breach is made by Subset Games, the same guys who make FTL. And it's this really cool isometric, strategy tactical game. I guess the premise of the game is you're a part of this like military unit that has to protect the last civilization in one of these galaxies, and there's this alien race that's trying to consume all the resources and like eradicate the human race from the planets. And you have a group of mech pilots and then you have a group of mech units that have a certain set of abilities. And what makes this game super unique and interesting is the amount of options that are available to you in defeating the enemies. Like in some cases, like depending on your mech unit or your pilot specialties, you might want to eliminate the aliens. But in a lot of times, you soon realize that maybe eliminating them is not the most efficient way of navigating the levels, and so you start experimenting with just keeping your buildings alive and keeping your mech pilots alive as well. So you optimize around that, and the game becomes really interesting.
Or you just let everyone die because life is pointless.
Well,
and aliens are going to win.
Jesus, wow.
I mean, that's
we got really nihilistic.
Sometimes
there.
sometimes that's where I got to. I don't know.
So the game answers that by giving you by telling you that you go through like a time skip phase where you go back in time and you get a whole new set of pilots and a whole new opportunity to save the planet, all the planets.
Yeah. And there you go. That's how that game thematically incorporates a fail state into it.
It's important to do that. Yeah.
No, we didn't actually. Well, we did fail. We're just going to go back in time to another
and let's try and succeed
timeline.
Again. Yeah.
I'm going to go to a different timeline and try this over again. Yeah.
All right. My number 2 is going to go to Katana Zero because that game has climbed up to one of my top 5 favorite indie games of all time. So
it's very good. It's very.
I mean, it's got katanas. It's got zeros. I'm bound to love it.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Good. All right. Well, we did just spend a half hour talking about how great this game is. My number 2 is the 2015 mega hit Undertale.
Meh.
This is meh? You're not an Undertale guy, Leo?
No, I've never been a big fan.
Have you played it?
Yeah, we had a whole conversation about how I was meh about it. And you were like, what?
Okay. No, wait. We're going to turn my number 2 into a Leo, you need to defend your opinions on Undertale. Why aren't you crazy about this? I forgot the conversation we had.
It was okay. I don't know what all the hype was about. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I think the internet had a huge overreaction to that game. Not to be demeaning to Undertale. Like, that game is a really good game, but
yeah.
I mean, it was solid gameplay, great soundtrack. And I get that there was like a gimmick there where you can choose to like kill people or not, but I mean, it just seems like it's overly hyped to me.
I think it is adequately hyped.
Okay.
It is a very good game. The one thing, if you don't share a very specific sense of humor, like just like dumb puns and like just like silly video game jokes, like you might not like the humor that is on display in Undertale. Like there's a lot of like, I don't know, like pun humor. You might not like that sort of thing, but like God damn it, I love this game. So,
all right, I'll have to try it out next time.
Try it out.
I mean,
okay, wait a minute. How far did you get? How far did you get?
So far, I beat a bajillion people. It's
okay, yeah, but like, what area were you at?
It was past the Skeleton Brothers, past there was like an ice section, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty early.
I passed.
Undertale's very good. It's my number 2. What do you got, John?
So my number 2 is Hotline Miami, and we talked a little bit about it earlier in the podcast, comparing it to Katana Zero. I don't know. I think the game has a lot of the same elements that Katana Zero has, and that's what makes it really good. And I think also just because it came a lot earlier than this game did, so there's a lot of originality in it as well. So
okay,
yeah.
Hotline Miami over Katana Zero, huh? Oh well, maybe Katana Zero is your number 1. We're gonna find out in a second. Yeah. What do you got, Leo?
My number
number 1
favorite indie game is Mount and Blade Warband.
Oh, okay.
Developed by a group of, I don't even know, Turkish dudes. I don't know where the hell they're from.
Yep.
They make great games though. The small company called Tail Worlds. they're still working on the sequel to this game about 10 years later. So that's how indie it is. And it's basically a third person, very difficult. You can die in one hit sort of sword fighting game with directional input for attacks and blocks. The game is simple enough to learn, difficult to master, and that's usually my favorite kind of thing in life. I've spent thousands of hours playing this game online. It's very good. Usually you can find it pretty cheap on Steam. Look up Mountain Blade Warband.
Nice. My number one favorite indie game is a game that is probably DQ'd from being an indie game these days. It's Minecraft.
Hey.
It's now run by a company that it's now owned by Microsoft, which has, is anything but
not quite
indie,
an independent developer.
No, I think this is such a really important video game. The thing that makes me excited is so many kids. This was so big with so many kids.
Yeah.
Probably 5-ish years ago. I mean, it's still big now, but especially about 5-ish years ago, this game was so big with kids. There was the game. But this game, the thing that makes me excited is the core thing with Minecraft is creativity. That's what the game is built around.
Yeah.
I don't know. That makes me excited for the future of video games because I don't know. I just like being creative in video. I am really enjoying Mario Maker 2 right now. Little mini endorsement for you. Mario Maker 2 is very good, and that is a game about, I don't know, making levels, being creative. Yeah, it scratches the same sort of itch for me that Minecraft did. Anyway, it makes me excited that an entire generation grew up on Minecraft, and then in 20 years we're gonna have games made by the Minecraft generation.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'd be cool.
That's gonna be great. John, what's your number one video game? Is it Katana Zero?
It is not Katana Zero, although
what?
I think I should redo this list right after the podcast and put it up there.
Okay.
My number one game is FTL.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, two subset games on your list.
Damn.
Yeah, I love subset games. They're great developers. So FTL. Did you guys ever have a podcast episode on FTL?
No,
not FTL.
We talked about it quite a bit when we did Into the Breach, but
I don't as a maybe suggestion for the future episode FTL. It's really good, and I think also it's quite different enough from Into the Breach where you can make some comparisons, but it's a whole other game. So
for sure.
The main difference is FTL is real time, right? So all those decisions you have forever to puzzle over and think about in Into the Breach, you have to make in real time in FTL,
which makes
that's probably the biggest.
Makes it difficult in a very different way.
Yeah.
It's real time, and the objective of the game is quite different, and what you unlock too is very different as well. So
yeah, those are the best independent video games
of all time.
Of all time.
Yes,
definitive list. Mm-hmm. The definitive list. You heard it here. Don't hear it from anyone else. Only hear it here.
But subject to change.
Always subject to change. I'm still forming my opinion of Katana Zero, but holy shit, I don't know if it's gonna crack my top 5, but that would definitely be on a top 10 indie games list for me. Katana Zero blew my mind, and like I said, it's my favorite game of 2019 so far. So, what do we have to endorse, guys? Leo, what are you endorsing?
Something I've been trying lately is I've never been a coffee drinker. My whole life, I always thought it smelled nice, but tasted like ass.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. I drank tea growing up, or not growing up, but in the later years. For caffeine, I would drink a hot tea, like an English breakfast black tea. And recently, my wife has migraines now and again, and we were at a friend's house, and they were like, "Oh, she has a migraine. Give her some coffee because the caffeine will help." And then I realized if you pour enough shit into coffee, to sweeten it and give it other flavors, it makes it still taste like ass, but like drinkable ass.
Right. Yeah.
Coffee,
very sweet ass.
Yeah, coffee, sweet. Yeah, it can make it sweet ass, and that's drinkable.
Yeah.
So lately I've been
a drinkable sweet ass.
Yeah. So lately I've been trying to drink some sweet
coffee,
ass.
You guys, I guess I like ass.
You like sweet drink? Well, you just like ass. I don't know if you like sweet drinkable ass. You just like ass
in it just to make it less assy, but I don't like it.
Right.
Either.
Well,
that's a little bit of a sweet ass. A small sweet ass.
My end goal is to get to like a pure black, like manly black coffee with nothing in it.
A manly black ass?
Yeah. that's my goal, you know. But we'll get there. For now, my endorsement is
like a man, Leo.
My endorsement is learning to drink.
Take that
coffee.
ass like a man. Take that ass like a man. Oh, very good.
Yeah.
My endorsement is not ass related, unfortunately. My endorsement is watching the best show ever to air on television. Do you know what this show is? No, The Office can't even touch the high heights of BattleBots.
Oh boy.
The greatest show to ever air on television.
I don't know about
Holy shit. What? BattleBots is fucking amazing. Are you shitting me?
That was a good show, but I mean, it's no The Office. I don't
know. Have you watched the latest seasons of BattleBots?
Apples and oranges.
It's very sweet apples, though. These are some sweet ass apples.
Yeah.
Oh man, ass again.
BattleBots, if anyone remembers, way back when the Comedy Central series, in like the early 2000s, which was on Comedy Central, that aired for a few seasons and then like went off the air forever. There was a couple other. There was like Robot Wars or whatever. But then like 4 or 5 years ago, the Discovery Channel picked up BattleBots, I guess, and ran like a season or two or something, and then it like went off the air again. Well, gentlemen, I think last year, it was either last year or 2 years ago, Discovery Channel picked it back up again. It's now rebranded as BattleBots Fight Night. And it's like, it's got super high production values, and they like promote it as though it were like a fight, right? So it's got like an MMA or a boxing feel where like there's like an announcer, and you know he's introducing all these robots. There's all these dumb puns, whatever. The announcer Farouk, if you watch the show, Farouk is the best announcer.
I'll have to check it out.
He's like the announcer and like the hype man. But the thing that really makes the show great are the actual robots. And if you haven't watched, if you haven't watched like BattleBots since like the Comedy Central era, like let me tell you, in the 20 years since you've watched that show, first of all, the meta of like robot fighting has evolved so far, but also like mechanical engineering has come so far in 20 years. Like the robots on this season and like last season of BattleBots are either A, incredibly durable, or B, incredibly destructive. Like, oh my God. So 2 or 3 robots to watch. My favorites real quick. Minotaur, he's got like he's a drum spinner robot. So he's got a like metal drum that spins at, I don't know, several hundred RPM. And basically he just eats through, metal, your armor, your wheels, whatever. If this drum touches you, and you know, sometimes when the drum touches you, it'll pop you way up in the air. Ice Wave, the creators of Ice Wave took like a rescue saw that like firefighters and like rescue workers use to like saw through cars to like get people out of cars. They used that, but they attached like a helicopter blade onto this rescue saw. So it's this like abomination where it's like a it's like a gas powered saw, but it's got this insane blade on it. It's ridiculously destructive, but the most destructive robot of all, Tombstone. He is a horizontal spinner. He's got it's like 150-pound metal bar that he spins at like, I don't know, like 150 or like 200 miles an hour.
Jesus.
So like there's this insanely fast, like really heavy metal bar that like, and he's got different metal bars, right? He's got some that have like a bladed tip that he can use to like slice through. Or if he just wants to bludgeon you, he can just use the like super fast 150-pound like thick metal bar to just like beat the crap out of you. Go watch some YouTube clips. Do it right now. Go watch some YouTube clips of Tombstone.
All right, you've sold me on this. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Oh my god, BattleBot's the greatest show to ever air on television.
All right, John, what do you got?
I've been rewatching and watching one of the greatest movie series ever.
Yeah. Is it BattleBots the movie?
Yeah.
BattleBots the show, the movie?
No, not quite. It's John Wick. John Wick.
Nice.
Close enough.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
he's basically a BattleBot.
When I was playing through Katana Zero, I had just watched John Wick 2. And
doesn't it feel like John Wick has the same ability?
Yeah. You know what's really interesting is the stylish elements between the movie and the game. Katana Zero. There's like just text with like floating characters and rainbow RGB effects, and like in the movie, in the first John Wick movie, all the Russian people, the subtitles have like colored text and RGB element in it. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, oh my god, this game's perfect. I
could see where some of the inspiration came from the John Wick series, like because you have to imagine John Wick does things so perfectly in one try. It's almost as if he's had practice.
Because they nicknamed John Wick Baba Yaga, which is boogeyman in Russian, and like the guy in the game is nicknamed the dragon or whatever, and they're both very unstoppable forces,
dragons,
and like the story is kind of mysterious and out of the way, and the main focus is the visceral killing action.
Sure, yeah, a lot of similarities.
Yeah, so good recommend. Watch all three movies. I saw the third one too.
Yeah, I just watched it this weekend. It was interesting though, because we can talk about that at a later time. I gotta go eat something like right now.
All right, real quick, if you have any suggestions for us, any feedback, please give us an email at goodgamescast@gmail.com. Yeah, please give us your feedback. Please subscribe, give us a 5-star review, give us a thumbs up, give us a whatever the hell comment. I don't know. It helps us out. And I think with that, we're going to call it an episode. We never decided what our next episode is going to be, but whatever.
We'll figure
that out. Yeah. Surprise episode coming next. So for the Good Games podcast, I'm James.
I'm Leo.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time.
See
Goodbye. Goodbye.
All right. I'm going to go eat
Goodbye.
My fist.
Okay, that's not good.
Don't eat, Leo. Don't die.
All right.
Whoa, he ate his fist. Yeah, but there's like a max timer on any level, which is like what, like a minute, maybe like a minute 30, 2 minutes at the most. Like
I guess it just felt longer because of the intensity. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what she said, by the way.
Oh.